Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kim and today I am doing another speed build. This one is called Windermere House. It's a 3-bed, 1.5 bathroom build on a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek, and it comes in at just less than 185,000 simoleons. Now, the other day I was thinking about what I would like to build, and obviously I like to build different houses, and yeah, I wanted to do a different kind of style of build and decided that it's been a while since I've actually had a look for some sort of inspiration. So I decided to pop back onto Pinterest and just have a little look around at some different types of architecture, and I came across this kind of it was like a really posh style house, and had this kind of white theme on the outside with black railings and stuff, and I thought that looks really amazing. Now, it wasn't actually this shape, but I kind of used maybe the architecture of that build and applied it to this one. There's really nothing massively, it's quite boxy really, this build. There's nothing particularly special about it. But it is a little bit different from something that I've done before, and I wasn't sure at first actually about using these windows. I thought I'm trying to go for kind of like a regal type look, and I wasn't sure whether they were going to go with them being so modern, but I think it looks alright in the end. I think it kind of looks quite grand. So I think after doing the boathouse the other day, it got me thinking that maybe I would like to have a little bit more of a practice of a more kind of modernish interior, but this isn't really modern. It's in fact, it's not modern at all. It's very traditional on the inside and it's very posh. And I would say, if anything, it was more like vintage style, something like that. But nevertheless, it's been a long time since I've done this kind of style, and I thought I'd really like to give it a go. Just something all out, very posh, very elegant. I think I called this house for a while Elegant House because that's what I had in mind. I just wanted to build something that didn't have anything to do with parenthood or teens or toddlers or anything like that. This was specifically designed for adults only. And it was actually a lot of fun doing it as well, because I'm currently doing the Black Widow challenge, and I think one of the things that I love about doing it at the moment is that it doesn't actually have children in it at this point. And I think sometimes I absolutely love playing with the toddlers and children and the teens. I'm having so much fun in my Parenthood Let's Play at the moment. But I think sometimes when you do set out to play The Sims, it's quite nice not to have to play kind of like the children's aspects of the game, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm on my own with that one. Maybe everybody loves creating families and reproducing in The Sims, but however, this was built in mind for a professional couple, or even just it's actually a 3-bedroom build, so potentially could make quite a nice family home. And of course you can edit and change and add things in, and it's not actually completely child friendly. It's just not got anything specifically for children in it, if that makes sense. I also imagine that a lot of the things that I've placed in the house, if you did have children, you wouldn't necessarily have in there, like very expensive ornaments and lots of candles and just things that are no-goes for children. Now, I did actually go a little bit all out on the landscaping at the front, and I say I went all out, it's not really all out, it's just I went for a completely different design to maybe something that I normally do. I'm normally quite a scruffy landscaper. I add lots of detail and pretty much use anything and everything, whereas I wanted this to be a little bit more sculptured and thought out, and I actually enjoyed doing it because the amount of times I get to the point where I think, right, I'm going to do something that's a bit more sculptured and, you know, looks a little bit more appeasing on the eye, and then I just go mad. Like, absolutely mad, and it looks nothing like what I set it out to look like. But finally I kind of like reined that in. I'm just always conscious of going out of my comfort zone and trying to improve in areas that I wouldn't necessarily, you know, approach ordinarily. And that's like the real fun thing about learning creativity, because that's what you do. You learn all the time. There's not one artist out there who isn't still learning as they're producing material. So, you know, I always try to kind of like venture out of my comfort zone and try things that, you know, I ordinarily wouldn't choose to do. So with regards to the roofing here, I did start to have a little play around with the roofing, and I thought, you know what, I'm actually just going to keep it really basic and simple. I think a lot of the time people really exaggerate the roofs in buildings, and to be honest, it looks awesome, because none of the buildings that we build in The Sims actually probably really look like that in real life. You know, lots of people use pillars and all sorts of stuff on the outside, but that's a really fun thing about building The Sims 4. We're able to do that. But with the roofing this time, I kind of thought with the style of the building, I would keep it quite simple, and so I didn't add too much detail up there. I'm moving again onto the backyard. This wasn't really well thought out. I mean, you can see it as I go. You can see how I chop and change stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not sure about that. I'll change that. I'll add that. And yeah, it looked okay in the end. I quite liked it. It was very well sculptured, and I think I reined in my my desire to add lots and lots of detail. So I literally just added like a couple of fountains. There's going to be some like garden detail, a little bit similar to the front. I went for the same sort of theme to the front with this like manicured lawn effect. There's a pool, and there is an outdoor seating area with a barbecue as well. So I thought it might be nice for them to sit quite nice and central in the back garden, just sitting around in the evening, having a glass of wine and a barbecue with friends. And I thought it looked quite nice, and I could imagine the view being really good from where they were sat as well. I did also keep like the colours very green and white. I didn't use any other colours apart from that, just to give it that kind of classic type look. I think ordinarily most gardens have colour. You know, I think most gardens have some sort of wildflowers growing and colour and whatnot. But I thought, no, with this one, I will just keep it white and quite simple. I just wanted to go kind of as elegant and as posh as I could. So yeah, there wasn't too much crazy foliage going on, if you like. So it was quite refreshing to do this build, because I kind of always stick with the two categories of traditional and modern, and I kind of feel like this is a category of its own, which is sort of kind of posh and elegant and regal, that kind of style. So it was quite nice actually, because I've obviously just finished the boathouse, which was a modern build in a kind of like foresty setting. But I think I'm going to do a few more modern builds coming up. Now they may not be massive modern builds, only because I'm not really a big fan of doing modern builds, but also, I have seen some quite cool looking modern builds, which are smaller. They're like medium-sized houses, but they've got so much detail and they just looked really cool. So I don't actually know what their style is. It will be a certain style of modern home because there was quite a lot of them, and they were very, very detailed. So I'm looking to maybe start one of those. But I've got this big long list again. I decided to try and get myself organised and have a look at my channel and see what I haven't yet completed and what I'd quite like to do. And yeah, I've got some good ideas actually coming up. One of the builds that I wanted to do that's been on my list for a while was a stilted build, because I haven't yet done one of those. And I was actually going to do a beachy stilted build, but then I ended up doing the beach shack thing, which was completely different. So I'm still to do a stilted build, but I don't want to do a beachy style one, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, that's on my list, as well as a 70s style build. I think I'd quite like to do that because I've not done that yet. And my, oh my, Devon Bumpkins Abandoned Hotel. How amazing is that video? I was like, wow, that is right up my street. I would love to do that kind of renovation. So I may actually have a go of that. It's a big, big project though. The build is absolutely massive, so I'm not entirely sure time-wise whether I'm going to be able to have the time to do it, because I think it is going to be something that will be, well, definitely for me, because knowing what I'm like as a builder, you know, and having to create a backstory as well, I probably would go all out, and then the competition will probably end by the time I got finished. But I wouldn't be doing it for the competition because I've got all the game packs, etc. But if you don't know about this competition yet, I'm going to link the video down below, and I'm pretty sure most people will have seen it by now, but it is a fairly new video. And basically he's built an abandoned hotel which is completely run down, and there are a set of rules that you can't change certain things, but basically you need to imagine and renovate it to how it used to be when it was alive and kicking, and you need to add in a backstory on why it became abandoned. And I just thought, wow, that's like absolutely awesome. So I actually might partake in that, but like I say, time wise I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to be able to or not. But if you've got the time to do it, I think you would have a lot of fun doing that, because these build challenges are fantastic, and the ideas that people have and come up with are just, you know, are brilliant, and it's all fantastic practice as well, because, you know, we're all builders in the game. We all like to, well, not all of us like to build in the game, but, you know, if you do like building but you don't feel like you're completely brilliant at it, then these build challenges are fantastic. So I definitely recommend getting involved in those. So I'm going to link that down below, because yeah, I was blown away and I thought, what a brilliant idea. I also have something which I may start next. I had a ping of inspiration actually when I was watching Devon Bumpkins Abandoned Hotel, and had this really good idea which I'm not going to share. I'm just going to get on with it because it'll probably be one of the next builds coming out over the next week, but I am yet to start that one. I'm not fortunate enough to have several projects on the go. I literally just work project to project. So, for instance, I started this build, I think, last night, or it may be the night before actually, because I filmed my Let's Play last night and had a load of nightmares with it. But anyway, so yeah, I don't really have this like a backlog of builds that I'm working on, and I really, really wish that I did, and I wish that I had more time to fire out more, because I've just got so many ideas that I've got this huge green book which is dedicated just for everything that I do with The Sims, and every now and then I have to keep rewriting out this list of things that I want to build, and it just seems to get longer and longer. It never actually seems to get any shorter because I'm just like, ooh, that's a good idea, write it down. But I have to write things down because my memory's rubbish as well. So yeah, I was watching that video today on the abandoned hotel and I was like, oh, I've got a really good idea. And I kind of like raced to my drawer and wrote it down in capitals just so that I didn't forget. So I'm looking forward to doing that one because I think that will be quite a good one. And it's also quite relevant to my Let's Play as well. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think you might also see a couple of little mini challenges as well. I did see a Cass 5-minute challenge. I think it was Jen that did it at Urban Sims, and she did this 5-minute challenge to take some, like, the ugliest sim, and you basically try and make her look as beautiful as possible in 5 minutes. And that looks like heaps of fun. And I've seen quite a few people doing like room builds as well. And let me know if you'd be interested in that, where I just focus just on renovating one type of room, because I do think when you're doing a big build, you kind of don't go as into too much detail, maybe not detail, I don't know what the right word is for it, but I think if I was just doing one room, I would probably plan it out quite well, and you know, I don't know, but I might do some room builds as well. We'll see. It's all like time dependent, if anything. But I thought it was quite nice to break up the channel a little bit from just builds and obviously Let's Plays. So throw out a few quick videos just to change things up a little bit. So I am finishing off at the moment, just working on the kitchen. The pillars that I placed in the middle I absolutely loved, but they do that whole glitching thing which drives me mad. I hate it when kind of like trees cut through walls and things kind of glimmer with that kind of glitchy. I don't really want to be situated here, and I'm just going to make this really horrible visual during your gameplay look. So I did actually remove them in the end, which was a shame because I did quite like them. But yeah, so this is my final room, and obviously went for quite as classic a look as I possibly could. But I hope you've enjoyed this build. It's a little bit different. It's probably the most elegant I have after Highgate Manor, which is probably the second most elegant one that I've done. And it's actually a lot smaller a build than I actually thought it was going to be. But if you enjoyed it, please give me a big thumbs up, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.